Be like, hey, I need butter.
You gonna call me?
I'll call you.
My phone's in the other room.
Okay, you better get it because I'm gonna call you. I'm gonna call you. Anyway, a holla.
Give me a holla.
Holla!
Holla!
Okay, now we're done.
Hi y'all, this is Ali from Little Home Homestead. Hey, Homestead.
From the Homestead.
I'm English apparently now.
Ooh, we are making scones. Okay, we're bringing you guys our scone. We have an ice machine running now. You guys can hear it. We're going to be showing you guys our basic scone recipe. This recipe we love because if you do it just as a basic scone, is delicious. If you want to amp it up and make it flavored, you totally can as well. So we're going to be making a blueberry orange scone today, but you can also do like a cherry almond would be delicious. You could do like apricots. I think any dried fruit basically you can use in this recipe to make a bomb scone. So here we go. The first thing you need is 2 cups of flour. It's just all-purpose flour, not bread flour. So I have 2 cups in a bowl here, all ready to go. You need a 1/2 cup of sugar into the bowl. And then I pre-measured it. This is 2.5 teaspoons of baking powder and 1/2 teaspoon of salt. So we're gonna get all that slightly incorporated. So I already did this. Actually, Shawn did this because I have a hard time with it. You need to take 1 stick of butter and put it in your freezer. We store it in the freezer all the time, so we just grabbed one of our frozen sticks of butter, and you need to grate it, fine grate 1 stick of butter. I'm gonna grab it out of the freezer. We had this in the freezer, and of course, the ice machine dumped right at the perfect time, so there's some ice cubes in here now. So I'm picking them out. Our freezer is quite full, and so we set this in the ice tray, and that was a bad idea. That's okay. Okay, so I fine grated our butter. See? Boom. Actually, Shawn did, like I told you. Once it's shredded, you put it back in the freezer because you want it to stay really cold. Now we're going to add that into... I should use the spoon. The warmth of your hand is going to heat this back up, so you really should use a spoon. Don't do what I do. Do as I say, not as I do, right? Okay, that's your dry mix. What we're going to do is you can use 2 forks. You can use a pastry, what are these things called? A pastry doodad, or you can use your hand. But you want to incorporate that butter into your dry mixture and get it really good and kind of broken down. So it looks more like a crumbly mix than just your butter separated from pastry cutter. I think it's called a pastry cutter. Anyways, you're just gonna mix this together just enough to get the butter incorporated into your flour mix. Like I said, you can use 2 forks to kind of do the same thing, and you would do that. Like I should have shown you with 2 forks instead of a pastry cutter, because not everybody has one of these. So our mix now is just light. You see the butter is like incorporated. I'm gonna pop this in the refrigerator so it stays cold while we do our liquid ingredients. It's only for a few minutes, but it's just enough to actually matter. Okay, into another bowl. You're gonna do your dry ingredients. Nope, we already did our dry ingredients. We're gonna be doing our wet ingredients. So our wet ingredients, I have the recipe here so that I don't lose track. We have 1/2 cup of heavy cream. You can use buttermilk if you prefer. I like to just use cream because it's kind of more traditional. 1 egg going in. Be careful, watch out for shells. And then you need, I'm hoping this opens. My vanilla never wants to open anymore. Like the lid is getting funky. So for the base recipe, you would do 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla. I'm not doing the base recipe fully today. I'm swapping it up a little bit. So I'm only doing 1 teaspoon of vanilla in ours, but okay, I'm using some orange extract because I'm making an orange scone. So I am going to be adding, our orange was not quite ready. So I had to buy 1 more bottle until our orange is ready. Whoops, 1 teaspoon of orange is going in there. Okay, so this would be your base recipe minus the orange if you were just making a scone. And you would pour this over the other ingredients. We're gonna mix it up and make an orange blueberry scone. It splashed up on my forehead. An orange blueberry scone. So I have the zest of 1 orange. I'm gonna be putting that in there. If you wanted to do like a lemon, you could do that as well. And just do lemon extract with lemon zest. If you're doing like a cherry almond or something else, you can just leave out the zest. There's no reason to put it in there. To that, I'm going to be adding 1 cup of dried blueberries. These are the ones that we got from Azure Standard, I think last month. They're delicious, you guys. If you haven't tried their dried fruit from Azure, it's really good. If you do not order from Azure Standard, Trader Joe's has really good dried blueberries as well. They're just with the dried fruit at any Trader Joe's. So I'm going to mix that all together in our liquid ingredients. Now, I need to go grab our dry back out of the refrigerator. Hold up. I know it's only for like 2 seconds that it's in there, but it's like 90 degrees here today, and that butter is gonna melt really quickly. You're gonna take this the liquid mixture, and pour it over the dry. So scones can be traditionally a little bit crumbly, so they're interesting to work with. This one is a little bit wetter, and so it's a little easier to work with. That's why I like it. I'm going to take my spoon and just slowly start to incorporate those together. I have too much stuff going on over here right now. Too many ingredients going on, too many bowls. Just keep stirring. I'm not going to use my hand yet because, again, I'm trying to keep that butter nice and cold. So to get a really good scone, you want the butter to be evenly distributed all through your dough in like chunks so that when you start baking it, it will melt into your scone. All right, so just keep on mixing. When you're like, dude, there's no way this spoon is going to continue to mix it. I do have a Danish dough whisk. I should have grabbed that because that works really well for this too. When it gets to that point though, good old hands. Just get in there and kind of get that last little bit of flour incorporated into your dough. Like I said, it's a little bit dry, but that's what scones are. They have a consistency thing, right? Oop, now I'm dumping it everywhere. We're moving quick so that that butter stays nice and cold. I should say, I preheated my oven to 400 degrees. If your oven runs hot like mine, do it slightly under that. All right. So it's now formed a little bit of a ball. It's not overly incorporated, which is what we're looking for. Just until your flour is incorporated. All right, now you have 2 options here. You can make a drop scone where you just kind of take pieces of this and drop it onto your thing, your parchment paper lined. There's a parchment paper lined baking sheet back here, guys. Or I'm gonna make a traditional like round scone that you cut wedges out of. So we're gonna sprinkle our countertop with just a little bit of flour. And we're gonna put our dough onto the counter. Let me drop this in the sink real quick, like. And then the easiest way to do this is I kind of just push it, and then I use the shape of the outside of my hand to spin it in a circle until it's the shape that you want. And then you kind of decide how thick you want your scone as well at this point. They're gonna puff a little bit. I don't like a really thin scone. I like a scone that has some consistency and some depth to it, if that makes any sense. Okay. So now we have like a little round scone. I forgot my knife, you guys. Good job. Let me grab it. Okay, I have a pastry bench scraper. We got this one at Williams-Sonoma, and it was one of those impulse buys. I think it was like 20 bucks, but the wood handle is just, it's it for me. So I use this all the time for sourdough. For scones, I use it to cut my scone shape. So at this point, you can either do 6 or 8 scones. It really depends on how big of a scone you want. So what I do is I use this to cut it in half. I'm going to do 6 because we are using these for breakfast as our main thing and nothing else with it. So I want them to be a little more substantial. Okay, so now we have like wedges, right? Of beautiful, delicious scone. Boom. That's our scones, you guys. Let me put them on our parchment paper. Boop. Baking sheet lined with parchment paper, and you're just gonna plop them down on there, you guys. Like I was saying, if you want a traditional, just regular old scone with no flavor in it, you do the same thing, just leave out your blueberries, your orange extract. I'll have the recipe below for the basic, and then a few adaptations that we've done to it flavor-wise. So there's our beautiful little scones. They're pretty. The blueberry orange is just like a really good combo. I'm gonna put these in the oven for, how long do I put these in the oven for? 20 to 22 minutes. So I'm gonna set a timer for 20 minutes. Pearl runs hot. Pearl's our oven. She runs a little bit hot, and so sometimes I'll stick an extra cookie sheet underneath these. I just raised my racks up pretty high today. So in they go before your butter melts. So I'm gonna go ahead and set my timer for 20 minutes, and in 20 minutes we'll be back. Well, I'm gonna bring you back to show you. Okay guys, we are gonna make a glaze for, I always do that when I have a knife in my hand. I like make gestures. We're gonna make a glaze for our version that can be adapted to any flavor that you want to make as well. So I'm doing obviously a blueberry orange. So I am going to be using the juice of one orange and some powdered sugar. If you're doing a different flavor and you're like, that won't work for mine, or a lemon won't work for yours, use a splash of extract with the powdered sugar and a splash of milk, and you'll get like the kind of the same result in the end, and you'll be good to go. You could also do like, have you seen our lavender simple syrup? You could brush that on them as well, like thicken it up with a little more powdered sugar and use that on top of it and have like a beautiful lavender scone. Man, possibilities are endless. Anyways, for us, we're doing orange. So I'm going to juice one orange. If you guys don't have one of these juicers, you need one. They're awesome. I already used the zest off this one, so if it looks a little weird, that is why. So this adds just a little like extra orange punch, flavor punch, not punch, to our recipe, like in the finished like little glaze. It adds a little special something. I also have half a cup, just over half a cup of powdered sugar. If you don't have powdered sugar, did you know that you can put regular old sugar in your blender for a couple seconds and it will whip up into the perfect powdered sugar? We have a video. If not, just put it in your blender. So I'm just gonna plop that in there. I'm gonna use the end of my brush because I forgot a spoon. Boom. If you really want an extra punch, you can add a little more orange extract to it. I already have enough, I feel like, between the juice and stuff that I don't want to add a little too much. You know, like when you get a little overzealous, I can really do that with almond easily. I love almonds, so I can get a little crazy. So as soon as you do that, it kind of just melts down. Can you guys see that at all? It looks like an egg. Just stir it until your powdered sugar and your orange juice are incorporated. And it's become this lovely, okay, now I'm gonna flip this over and show you guys. It's become like a lovely glaze. So we're gonna set that to the side while our scones are finishing up. And then when they come out of the oven, we're gonna use that to glaze them down and give them a little extra punch. All right, we'll be back as soon as the scones are done, which is in 11 more minutes. Now we are back. Our scones just came out of the oven. Tell me those are not like beautiful. It's a perfect scone, right? Yeah, they're beautiful. So to those, you can put your little bit of orange glaze over them. I like to do it when they're hot so that it soaks into your finished scone. Just give them a good brush down. It's gonna drizzle down the sides perfectly. So my husband and I were sitting here talking about like flavor combos, and I was like, dude, we came up with a good one. We think we're gonna have to do for fall. We're thinking of doing a traditional scone, so not the orange flavor, just a regular.
She doesn't usually normally call me dude.
I don't normally call him, yes I do. No, I don't. We're from California. You call people dudes and guys. It's just what you say as a term of endearment. But we're thinking that we're gonna do a basic scone with a maple glaze for fall. Would that be so good? I'm just trying to decide, would you put anything in it, like sliced almonds? No, maybe just maple. It'd be all about the maple. Maybe we'll do it when we get back from, we're gonna try to hit an Amish store to restock up on a little bit of maple syrup so that we have some good local, not to us, maple syrup. We can't get maple syrup around us. It just doesn't exist. We have to go up north. Anyways, I just do it a couple times around to make sure it's good and saturated and
So did you just say maple will do it?
Maple will do it.
Maybe. Oh, maple. Maple. What?
What? Maple? Maple?
Maple will do it.
Maple will do it. Huh?
Bad dad jokes.
Bad
Happens
dad
every day.
jokes. So that is it, you guys. These are our beautiful scones. Let me show you the final. Now that it's glazed, it has a sheen to it. Ugh. Come on now. You see? Oh, yes. You know you want it. Anyways, tell me what combo of scones you think we should try. Because I'm really thinking the maple one for fall would be bomb. What else would be bomb? I really want to, yeah, the cherry almond is delicious. What other thing could you do? Lemon and...
Can you do like a chocolate chip one?
You could do chocolate chip scones. You just do the base recipe and you add 1 cup of chocolate chips. Basically anything you want, do that base recipe, which is going to be below, and then add 1 cup of like nuts. Ooh, what about like a date scone?
Ooh,
we like dates.
yeah.
So what kind of glaze would you put on it? An almond date scone? I don't know.
Something simple, like something light.
Just a basic vanilla. This is how we come up with things, guys. We just sit here and we think of what sounds good and then we make it. So that is our blueberry orange scone. The recipe for these ones and our base recipe will be below. And look for the maple ones because now I'm super excited about that. And then once I get excited about something, it usually happens pretty quickly. It probably won't publish for a couple weeks, but yeah, that's happening. Anyways, thanks for watching, you guys. And happy... whatever day it is to you. Happy day. Oh, happy day. Okay, enough. Bye, guys.